And let's make sure everyone's muted as well, that we don't hear any background noise. But we'll get started. I like to use this presentation, and I worded it kind of differently than maybe you would normally expect. And here is the reason why. A lot of presentations on, oh, here's how you can be successful with, a farm business. And most people don't pay attention. They're sleeping. They don't care. But it really wakes you up when you start realizing here are 10 mistakes that are commonly made that you can't afford to make. Because guess what? Farming is utterly expensive. Some of y'all got the chickens, and then got into Dexter. Some of you got directly into Dexter's, and you thought, oh, okay, it just cost me the cow and the feed and some fencing, but no big deal. And we forgot the vet bills. We forgot the transportation costs. Oh wait, how am I going to transport an entire cow or multiple cows? Oh, I need a trailer. It just keeps adding up. The expenses keep adding up. And so I met so many people who allowed their farm dream to become a farm burden. And I don't want that to happen to anyone who raises Dexters, anyone in the ADCA membership. So throughout this training, we'll just talk about things that are common mistakes and then what we can do differently. And then throughout, we're going to answer some questions, and I am going to have breakout sessions. These breakout sessions are where you, as a membership, get to talk amongst yourselves, and then we'll come out of that. I might call on a few people to share kind of their experiences, and then we can go from there. So for today, we're going to be talking about both how to find your niche and then also how to research everything before you even get started. And for some of you who have already gotten started raising Dexter cattle, look at this more as also how do you figure out what your niche product is going to be, what in researching what that additional product might look like. Some of you, you're already into seed stock or beef or dairy production, and maybe you're wanting to switch or transition to something else. This will be a great way of kind of re-examining your operation and finding an opportunity that'll be a little bit better or advancing an opportunity you already have. All right, so first up, a lot of mistakes that people make when they get into farming in general is they do not find their niche. Common mistakes tend to be they don't assess or acknowledge already developed skills. They don't have any experience in what they're looking to do an endeavor in their potential niche, and they never hone natural skills and passions that they already had. The reason why this is really important to acknowledge before you even start a business plan, before you even start thinking about buying the animal or buying equipment, it's always important to figure out what your niche and natural gifts and talents already are. The reason why that's important is because I've met so many people who, have particular natural leanings and tendencies in terms of what they're really good at, but then they fell into a trend. They fell into a fad that did not fit their natural gifts and abilities, and they've wasted thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars trying to pursue a trend that never matched their actual niche, that never matched their actual gifts and abilities. Now, we can't argue that it is important to learn and diversify. There's some things that you're not necessarily going to have any experience in, but you have to figure out how you're going to learn in that experience. So there is room for that, but ultimately, it's going to be really important to make sure that you are doing an inventory on what you're really good at. So, for example, I used to manage a grade A raw dairy operation, and we use dairy goats. And if you if you know anything about goats, they're not for the faint of heart. They're for people who are really into highly intelligent animals and really go with the flow because dairy goats and really any goat will be mischievous because they just have this high IQ as an animal. So when I went into managing that operation, I loved goats. I loved raising goats, but I didn't actually love milking. I know how to milk. I know how to pass inspections by the state. I know how to make a dairy operation flow. But I didn't actually like raising dairy goats because I didn't like milking. I would wake up at 5 in the morning every single day hand milking. This was before we started, yeah, before the automatic milkers were really popular, especially in the homesteading community. So I was hand milking over, I think, 20 plus goats every single morning. Y'all, I did not want to wake up at 5 in the morning to milk goats. I did not wake up with, oh, I just can't wait. I'm so excited to milk goats. No, that was not my passion, right? I loved raising goats, but I did not love getting up every single morning to milk and then 5 p.m. doing the exact same thing. I felt enslaved to the dairy milking schedule. And this is part of the reason why I will never go back to a dairy operation when it comes to profitability. So when I look at my niche, I'm great as a livestock husbandry expert. That's what I'm really good at. Me managing an operation where I had to milk every single day was not actually my niche. Was I good at it? Yes. But at the end of the day, it was not my passion. I begrudgingly did it. I did it with a unappreciative, ungrateful heart. And so getting back into it, I would never do that again. So some of you, you might be thinking like, oh, like I want to go into, getting Dexters for milk production. Cool, great. Well, when we're trying to figure out what our niche is, we have to see, do you already have experience with milking? If you don't have experience in milking, it's going to be really important to find opportunities to milk animals so that way you can see whether or not that's for you. And I don't just mean, oh, well, I went to a farm and I got to milk a cow once. I'm talking about regularly milking, getting up early as a farmhand or as a volunteer, milking a cow, coming back within 12 hours, milking that same cow again. Maybe it's not a cow. Maybe you got people who raise dairy goats. That'll be a little bit of an easier avenue. So it's not so much whether it's a cow or a goat or even a sheep, but it's more so, do I like the task of milking? Am I even good at it? Is it even a passion that I have? It's an idea, but is it actually a passion? And the only way you're going to be really able to vet that is by actually experiencing, practicing it, and seeing if you like it long term. Um, so think about like what are some natural skills that you already have? For some of you, your skills are you're really fascinated with Dexter's for meat quality. So you're not so much into dairy. When you think about dairy, you're like, ah, that's kind of cool. But what I really like is I want to produce the best beef in the world. I want to produce the best beef in my state, whatever that goal might be, right? I'm more interested about the marbling of Dexter and how can I improve that? So milking might not be your niche. If your natural leaning is toward the actual consumption of meat, maybe your niche is going to be more towards beef production and perfecting the breed. And then that can take you into avenues of, what would be the best things to feed Dexter to improve the quality, the carcass quality of my animals? And then you start getting the forage, regenerative rotational grazing and things like that. Or what are some grains? Because some people use grain and none against grain. What kind of grains I can experiment with my Dexter as a finishing ration. So think about where your natural leanings are and then kind of move there from there. So I do have some questions up. Question number one is what skills and talents fill you with passion and purpose? Question number two, what makes your niche idea stand out amongst the competition? That's really important because reality is your neighbors could also be selling beef and maybe not raising Dexters, but they're raising Angus or Brangus. All right, how are you going to stand out with Dexters? Not just simply, oh, well, I have Dexters, so I automatically stand out. Be specific about how you're going to stand out in the beef market. Maybe you're doing dairy, same thing. Maybe you're doing breeding stock, same thing. Think about what specific, even outside of Dexter themselves, is going to make you stand out amongst the competition. And then number three, what legacy do you aspire to leave behind through this potential business idea. Now, for some of you, this is not a potential business idea. This is the business idea. So to modify that question, you would literally just replace potential and just simply say this business idea. And legacy is not just what I'm leaving for my family, like just monetary legacy. Legacy can also be land impact. I want to regenerate the land. This land's been in my family for 3 generations, 5 generations, 8 generations, but it's been terribly used, terribly managed. I want to regenerate the land of my family. This is going to be a part of my legacy. For some of you, it's more related to family. For others, it's beyond just your family. It's a part of community. I want my local community to have a beef cattle, Dexters that are easy to manage, really reliable livestock. And I want that to be my legacy. We don't have to depend on the big breeds. We can depend on the small breeds within my county, within my region. So whatever your legacy might be, just think about that. So we're going to go into breakout sessions, and let's stop the screen sharing real quick. There we go. And so I am going to break y'all out. If you get into a session and you notice that you're the only one talking and no one else is talking, just exit out, and I will put you in a new breakout room. But the reason why we're doing breakout rooms is because it's so important, A, to get to know all the other people in your membership, to learn from each other, because here's reality. I got my own experiences, but I'm not God. I don't know everything. And there are experiences that you all have that I've never had, right? Again, I've never raised Dexters for milk. Never have. Never raised Dexters for breeding. My experience with Dexters has strictly been with meat and meat quality, period. So I feel like y'all's experiences in a group setting, in a small group setting, will allow for you to lean and gain information and experiences that I can't provide. I also believe that, and not just my belief, I want it to be your belief as well, that even if you don't have a lot of experience, even if you're not someone like Pork Rind or whatever, that your experience does matter. I'll repeat that again. Your experience does matter. You might be like, well, I only got 6 months. Cool, great. Tell us what you know. People who got decades of experience can still learn from you with 6 months, 5 months. Even if it's just a simple, oh, wow, this person who just got into Dexter's, they have joy in their eyes. Man, I've been raising cattle for so long, I stopped having the joy in my eyes. I need to reinvigorate that. So no matter where you are in raising Dexters, there is value in your experience, and that valued experience.
Sure. Well, I guess I'll just start out by telling you that my wife is actually the primary caretaker of our Dexters. She's right here with me, and
Hi, wife.
yeah, and Tracy. Yeah, and we've been taking care of Dexters for I guess 5.5 years. We bought them from a breeder in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and she's been somewhat of a mentor to us. Um, and then in terms of, I'm looking at the first question here. What skills and talents fill you with passion and purpose? I guess it's really anything that helps other people. Things that make a difference in the lives of other people. I know that's kind of broad, but
Well, mine is I've been a wife and mother for 22 years. And so now, we've had two that have left the home. We have one that's 15. And so I'm transitioning into a new career. And so this is an easy transition. It's just my babies now have 4 legs instead of 2. And we've been very fortunate, that I can stay home, with my children, and that I've never gone one day wondering what I would eat. And so I just love raising the Dexters, and I feel like I could offer a high quality meat, for not necessarily this is where my husband and I butt heads, where I don't want to charge the highest price, but a decent price for a good quality meat.
Okay, okay, good. And remind me of your name again.
so I'm Jonathan,
I'm
and
Tracy.
Tracy. Cool. John remember Tracy. Tracy, for you selling this, is this more of a, because you mentioned you didn't want to sell at the premium of prices. Okay, we can argue about that, but we're gonna put that on the side for a minute. Um, what's the goal ultimately for you doing this? I hear you're transitioning, you want something else to do that can provide income for the family, but like beyond that, is there a true economic goal, or is this just kind of filling in the gap of, all the other duties that you don't have to do anymore?
Well, for me, it's of course, I want to make a profit. I know I'm not going to make a large profit, but I right now I would just like to cover my feed costs and things like that. We also have cooney pigs as well.
Good. Nice.
Yeah,
Cool.
part of what got us into this too was we bought a piece of property that's in the Tennessee agricultural zoning, and so we want to keep the exemption status. That was the original thing, and then also I think the idea of just raising these animals and caring for them is so fulfilling, and it's a great feeling to watch them kind of grow up and get healthy and um, just it's a good experience all around.
Mhm. Good. That's really good. It's really, really good. Cool. Well, this is exciting. I think y'all are definitely in that beginning stage. And I guess for you, Tracy, before we wrap up, what kind of idea do you have for being profitable? Is it simply meat, or are we thinking a little bit outside the box?
Well, right now I'm just thinking meat. We were doing a cow calf producer, but now I just want to purchase steers and raise the steers. And I'm thinking I'm getting away from the pigs because we do have limited acreage. We have 30 acres, but I think we have about 12 acres of
Sure,
pasture.
yeah.
So I think I just want to focus on the beef. And I guess the issue I've had is it's frustrating because, I'll look online or I'll ask different farmers, maybe not necessarily ones with Dexters, certain questions, especially as far as the meat quality, what can I do to improve it? And then I always get a different answer. So that's where it comes in, where it's kind of frustrating. And then when I take the animal and have it processed, I've got to wait another 2 years, to fix the problem or to change it. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks for sharing, Tracy. Appreciate you. All right, we're going to
yeah.
close all these rooms. See what happened. All right. So we're going to give people just about 1 minute to get themselves back over. But yeah, the Coonies, how did those? I know you said you were going to get out of them. Did they serve their purpose? Were they exactly what you're looking for, or were they kind of below what you're looking for?
No, I love the cuties. It's just I could have more Dexters if I do decide to, not have the cuties. Also, with two of our children in different states, we do like to travel and see them. And I do have a barn nanny, but with the coonies, I have to feed them twice a day. So it would just be, I may not breed them anymore. I may end up just, for limited time, I could purchase the piglets and then just raise them for me. But we just did our first processing of two of the coonies. And so far we've gotten good reviews, about their meat.
Yeah, the meat's amazing.
So,
Hmm. That Cooney meat's great. Oh, looks like everybody's back. All righty, this is great. All right. If you had a great time during your session and you would like to share kind of what you learned, we're going to do 2 minute shares.
Talked about one breeder is working on their passion is seed stock and breeding for a while now. I didn't catch the years, but I know them. They've been breeding for a long time. And so about talk about continual improvement year after year and having some variety as Dexter's kind of come in all different shapes and sizes. And then really focusing on getting to know the breeder that is coming to shop, whether they're new or seasoned, and finding what their likes are, what their needs are, and then trying to fit them with an animal that'll suit their needs. So, and then we had another breeder talk about they were new and they're also interested in marketing Dexter beef. And I lost my train of thought. um, oh, and then developing that market and also doing some seed stocks. They got a new bull this year for the first time, but they've had experience with raising Herefords from years ago, and now are retired and looking at getting back to their roots, but with Dexters because they're smaller, more docile, and easier going. And then I shared about our the Dexter milk and what makes that unique. That was my niche, about wanting uh, to provide locals with milk that they can't otherwise have. Because most of my customers come to me because they can't drink cow's milk even raw unless it comes from the Dexter. So that's what makes their milk unique, as being the structure similar to goat, but not having that stigma of goat's milk that many people have. So we had a good breakout session.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Kimberly. And yeah, goat's milk. Fun fact, if you're doing goat's milk and you're wondering why does it have that weird taste to it, best way to get rid of it is by actually hydrocooling it, making sure you cool down the temperature as fast as possible. And that'll usually take care of the goaty taste. But yeah, I'm that everything you shared, Kimberly, was spot on. That was really spot on, and I'm glad that you had a good group. All right. If there's anyone else that would like to share their group experience or something that they learned from the group, now is the time to speak up. And don't worry about hitting the reaction button. Just say your name, where you're from, and start the conversation.
So in ours, my name's Denise. I live in Southern Utah.
Hi, Denise.
One of the things that we were talking about was a few of us are kind of looking into or doing grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and a common struggle or concern that came up amongst us was finding pasture land to be able to raise grass-fed, grass-finished beef. In my area, it's Utah. There's not a lot of water, and so trying to find pasture land that's available to lease, to utilize, to be able to have that finished product that we're looking for is definitely something that is a bit of a struggle around here. And chatting with one of the gals in our breakout session, she finds the same struggle in the hill country in Texas. So just something to kind of note and find ways to overcome.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Denise. That's a great share. And yeah, especially finding good pasture land, not just land. There's plenty of land out in Utah, but pasture land. It's a really good comment. Anyone else that'd like to share their experience? We got time for one more share.
This is John. I'm in Western Washington, and one of the things that came up was similar to that, and it had to do with the nutritional value of what's in the pasture, and what crop is being raised for hay, and then the mineral supplements that go along with it. And so that was one of the things. I'm still real new to the whole farming thing. Was that I really need to learn more about everything from the soil microbes all the way through to raising the animal, because what's in your pasture is was what determines how your animal's made. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to hear, that people have been doing it for 15, 20 years. That's was been one of my questions, is trying to get my pasture improved, because I don't have the lack of water problem. I actually have more than enough water with irrigation rights, but I can water all day long, but I can hardly get my pasture to grow. So I was just running some soil samples today, and I don't have hardly any nutrients in my soil. It's been just overgrazed for the last probably 50 years. And so I'm going to have a long road to hoe to get the quality of my pasture back up. So it seems to be a common thing is, getting, how to generate the good grass and keep everything going.
Thanks for sharing, John. That was a good share. All right. I think that was pretty good of everybody. Trying to stop that timer. Where's the timer at? There we go. Let's make sure everyone is muted. There we go. Yeah, and what's interesting that I've realized is when you're starting your journey, it's okay to evolve. John brought up a really good point about, you know, get into Dexter's because they're such a versatile livestock, but then also realizing like, oh, I got some problems that I need to solve. And what's interesting is I've met people from all over the world who specialize, who raise cattle, they're cattlemen and women, but through raising cattle, they realized that they had a really strong love for the soil, microbiology, just like soil nutrition. And, even though they got into cattle's, they realized like, oh, I can start a consulting business and make more money than I could raising cattle. They don't stop raising their cattle, they're still raising their cattle. But they built an entirely new business because of their passion and their love for soil and really regenerating the land, not just their land, but the lands of other people as well. And these are people who charge from a few hundred to do a consultation to tens of thousands of dollars. So that might be something to consider is that even though you got in with Dexter's, Dexter's does not have to be the end point, right? It might, for some of you, be a starting point to an even more profitable business. Now, I'm not going to say, get rid of your Dexters. That'd be kind of sacrilegious. But what I am saying is, just be open to the fact that when you're on your farming journey, and more particularly your business owning journey, that you will naturally realize that there are opportunities that are available to you that you can leverage because you have animals like Dexter. All right, we're going to move on to back to the presentation. Let me share my screen one more time. Okay, there we go. It still is not sharing the right screen. I do not know why it keeps doing that. Hold on one second, y'all. There we go. All righty. Moving on to the next slide. Common mistake number two that a lot of new and beginning agribusiness owners, new farm owners make is that they don't research everything about their particular niche or particular products that they're interested in producing. Some common mistakes that a lot of these folks make is they don't understand cost of production, they never check on market price, and they don't learn who and where their customers are. Here's why this is really important. Uh, I get people from all over the country, even all over the world, who will book a consultation with me, and they'll ask, like, "Hey, Pork Rind, I'm really struggling financially to, make this farming thing work, and having a hard time marketing our products." And it's hard hearing those stories because I know it's not just they don't have money. It's also that it creates a lot of stress in their home. It creates a lot of stress in their marriage. It creates a lot of stress with their kids, a lot of internal stress, doubt, self-worry, self-loathing. And so, because I've been there. And so, one of the questions I'll ask them is like, okay, what products do you have? Oh, we got this, we got we're raising beef, pork, chicken, yada yada, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe something a little bit more niche than those things. And I'll say, okay, cool. So before you started farming, quick question. Before you start farming, did you ever do a market analysis? Some of them literally are like, what do you even mean by that question? And the startling thing is, out of all of my farming clients, over 95% of them never analyze their markets, right? What this means is they never look to see, are the people in my area even wanting my product? Are they even asking for my product? Not yours specifically, but the product that you want to produce or the product that you're already producing. I get folks who are doing chicken and they're like, cool, I'm getting chicken. Everyone loves chicken. I love chicken, right? But going back to the first point, they don't understand cost of production. So they're raising, let's say, 100 chickens. And the cost of that chicken, if they have to sell the chicken whole, is going to be, let's say, and this is they're doing a really good job understanding their cost of production. Is going to be $30 for a whole chicken, $35 for a whole chicken. Oh, why aren't people buying my whole chicken? Well, brother, most people don't buy chicken, a whole chicken, for $30 to $35, especially if they can go to Costco and buy it for 5. So again, like understanding cost of production is really important because when we don't understand cost of production, it is so easy to utterly outprice your product from the market simply because you have scale inefficiency. So we go on to scale efficiency. We'll talk more about that later in the trainings towards the fall. But overall, we're going back to the chicken example. Uh, if you're raising 100 chickens, that is scale inefficient. I have raised over 5,000 laying hens at one time, several thousand broiler chickens at one time. That's scale efficient because all the costs associated with raising chickens is divided out a lot more evenly and a lot nicer. Cost production rates each chicken is lesser because I have scale efficiency. I have more numbers to spread out the cost of production. Same thing happens with Dexter cattle, right? If you only have one Dexter cow, nothing wrong with that. No shame with that. But your cost of production for that one cow is going to be more expensive if you had 5 cows, 10, 12 steer, whatever it might be. So that's really important to understand what your cost of production is. So that way you're not creating a super, super duper um, high cost product that no one's going to buy. Understanding and researching everything also includes, again, checking your markets and then understanding who those customers actually are. A lot of people who get into farming unfortunately make the mistake of falling into what I like to call unintentional narcissism. What I mean by that is I'll ask them in the consultation, I'll say, hey, why'd you get started in farming? And I'll hear, oh, well, I'm farming because, it's land's been in my family for generations, just want to make it usable. Okay, cool. For some, I hear these stories about, oh, I was dying of cancer or some kind of terminal disease, but then eating healthy changed my life around and, helped me evade death. And so I want to just keep, doing this through farming. I'm like, okay, cool, cool. And then some people, they just love the land and they just want to be a part of the land. Also great. But here's the issue with all those answers. They don't really answer why they have a farm business. And again, the point of a business is to be of service to a customer. When farmers become unintentional narcissists, what they tend to do is focus more on themselves and what they would like to produce and expect, and in some cases, even be entitled into believing that people should just buy their product just because they created it. These are people who get bitter and resentful that people aren't buying their product at a farmer's market. And they get scoffed at and they get really frustrated. But then I go back and ask them, like, okay, did anyone ask for this product? Did you do a survey to see if people wanted this product? And again, 95 of the people that I talk to, the answer to that question is no. And the 5% of the people that I talk to, they're not even struggling financially with their farm, right? So let that sink in. When you're doing research, market research, doing surveys, seeing what people in your area or the area that you would like to sell into are interested in, once you figure that out, you can create a product or a service, even with Dexter's, that allows for them to actually buy your product because it's a need, it's a want, it's a desire. So as we move forward into our breakout sessions, next questions are going to be, how will you determine your potential customer and what are their desires? These are not assumptions. Don't go based on assumptions. For those of you through trial and error, you figured out what works for you and what works for your customers. I would love for you to share your experience in the breakout sessions. What worked, what didn't work, to figure out what your customers actually needed. Number two, how much will it cost to bring your vision to life? Right? Whatever your niche might be. And number three, where will you sell your premium product and why there? And by there, it could be a farmer's market, it could be a restaurant, it could be a farm stand. Whatever your answer is, defend the reason as to why you are using that location as the primary location for selling your premium products.
This is the problem because our production is so low at this point. We just sold 2 Dexters on the hoof. And then now we have steers that are less than a year old. So it'll be another year before I have any product. So that's where I don't know, where to sell. I don't think it would be worth going to a farmer's market because I would only be there once in the whole summer. So this is where I don't know what to do or who my customer is.
Gotcha. So just and since I know from your what y'all had said previously about, one of the main reasons why y'all got into Dexter's was for ag tax exemption, which
Right.
awesome because the taxes are killing people. So what I appreciate about Dexter's is that they work really well for you know being purchased by family and friends, whether they're doing half a cow, whole cow, quarter of a cow. It's just a lot easier for people to start there. And that's usually my recommendation for someone that, they're not, their initial reason for getting Dexter's or any animal or any type of production was not so much, hey, we're going to start a farm and our goal is to make $100,000 plus a year, if not close to 1 million, right? Most people are not, that's not their goal. It's not the reason why they're into farming. So starting off with family is going to be one of the best things. Friends, church or religious communities that you're a part of, clubs that you're a part of. Now, if y'all got a social life, I highly recommend getting a social life. Y'all kids out the house now, so you got more time. And so that'd be kind of one way that I'd look at it. So hopefully that helps.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's great.
Is there anyone else that'd like to chime in?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Robert Cannon. Nice to see you.
Yes, sir. The thing that is interesting to me about the Dexters, and particularly where I'm at, I've got a small property, and so like the previous speaker, our quantity of cows is limited, but that's an advantage in a big sense because I sell at farmers markets and at a single farmer market, and I'm the highest price guy there, and I'm selling grass-fed, grass-finished, 7 forage salad bar beef, and from Joel Salatin, and it's working very, very well. But I only sell by the cut. I don't do halves, quarters, any of that stuff, because again, my herd is too small to allow me to do that. And my goal is to eventually get to the point where I'm not just selling 6 months out of the year at the farmer's market, but drawing people to the farm to sell here. And the biggest stumbling block that I run into, and I'm in Tennessee, and we've got fescue, and we've got problems with stress with the dexters and the fescue, is we're doing AI on everything, and our birth rate is not where I'd like it to be. And I'm still screwing around with trying to change seasons and figure out ways to overcome that problem. But I can sell 3 cows a year easily at the farmer's market at premium prices because it's all grass finished and people are really attuned to that at this point. And the salad bar beef thing works. It it makes sense to people.
Thanks for sharing, Robert. And yeah, I think the interesting thing about I'm gonna have to start to close for the breakout rooms. The interesting thing about kind of your story is like you're doing 3 cows, cows, steers, and what are you charging for prices? Like how much is a T-bone? How much is a sirloin?
Okay, well, I grab my handy dandy cheat sheet here. For example, tenderloin is $39 a pound. Ribeyes, ribeyes,
Yeah.
ribeyes $32 a pound. New York strip $30 a pound. Hanger steak $20 a pound.
How much is
And
ground beef?
$9 a pound.
Oh, come on, man. Raise that up a little bit. Raise that up a little bit.
Well, I hesitated this year uh, on taking that one up. I probably will, but I sell hamburger patties at $12 a pound.
Okay.
That's 1 pound of ground beef that
Okay.
it's just done in patties.
Okay. I
Marrow
see
bones,
you.
marrow bones $9 a pound. Uh, organs $12 a pound to $14 a pound. Tallow $5 a pound.
Are
I'm
you
selling
doing
fat.
are you doing any ancestral meat blends?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Are you doing any ancestral meat blends?
No, I don't even know what that is.
So it's when so what they usually do is put about 5% organ meat, tends to be heart, kidneys, liver, stuff like that. And they'll blend it with the ground.
Right.
And so a lot of people will pay even more than regular ground just because they believe in the health benefits of eating organ meat. Some will even buy it for their dogs. But usually you can market like a 20% ancestral blend for pets if you wanted to. That depends on your, regulations for dog food and whatnot.
I have
Um,
people coming to see me who have dogs with cancer, and their vet has told them to buy organ meats from somebody that's doing grass finished beef. And I sell organ meat to people with dogs that got cancer. And it's got to make you wonder if it's good for the dogs, it probably would be a good thing for people.
Amen, brother. Amen. All right, looks like
So,
everybody is back. So here's what we're gonna do. And then Trinity Farm, Mr. Robert, Trinity Farm is asking about you in the chat, so feel free to comment to them. Um, so here's what we're gonna do. If you would like to share your experiences with the group, some things you learned or some things that you're already doing as it relates to the questions, feel free to just jump right in, say who you are, where you're from, and I'll give you a 2-minute timer. So whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah. Okay. So personally, I show my animals. I also milk them. I also butcher them. I also sell breeding stock. So I do everything with them, but I show them to market, to be able to market, showing at these huge, huge fairs, whether it's a county fair or a state fair. We're talking our state fairs here in Washington are millions of people. And so all the Dexter breeders of Washington State kind of are fortunate that we have a really strong show team here and we go to fairs and we market our animals that way because we all butcher. We can sell we can't sell out of the fair, but we can certainly put up big signs of who our animals are. So that, and then you got to just remember word of mouth. As soon as you've got word of mouth, you got something. And just know that good word of mouth will not spread as quickly as bad word of mouth. And bad word of mouth will kill you. But good word of mouth is out there. If you can get, even if you can get people that are interested, go, yeah, you can try a pound of burger, that's fine. They get all excited. They tell their family, they tell their friends. So I think mostly for me, it's just been because it's been so many, many years. It's word of mouth for people.
Thanks for sharing, Stephanie. All right. Technically ad time. If we have one more person I'd like to share, I want to create some space and I'll
Just saying, well, I didn't say anything yet. I was thinking about last week, someone mentioned that there's people outside of Facebook. I'm one of those people. So I appreciate the fairs and other ways of marketing because, well, people that just do YouTube and Craigslist like me are still out there. That's it.
Thanks for sharing. All right, John, you get your 1 minute. Come on back.
All right. Well, I was just going to say is it what got me even thinking about selling beef. I had originally just got the dexters for myself, and I had gone to the doctor, and he asked me what I was up to, and I told him I was starting to raise cattle, and he said, "Are they grass fed?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'll buy the whole cow. When can I get it?" And so it wasn't very hard, to find my first customer. I haven't actually sold him anything yet, and so I went to a farmer's market and talked to the vendors that were there, and they say their problem is they can't get enough beef to sell at the farmers markets. And talking to other people that they just don't have enough animals to sell by the halves and wholes. So that's why I decided to go ahead and try and ramp it up a little bit, see if I could do that to maybe to cover the cost that I have beef for myself.
Awesome. Awesome. Ah, I enjoyed the night. I don't know about y'all. It feels like I went on a really good date today. If that makes any sense. So some things to also keep in mind, before we close out is just remembering, like, with the questions, if you're like, man, I don't even know how to answer these questions. Um, no worry, no fear, don't worry about it. What I would suggest is making sure you reach out to people within this community, whether they're the people who are joining us on the webinars weekly, going to the ADCA registry and seeing all the people who could be available for mentorship. Next week, we're going to talk about mentorship, so be ready for that. And then also talking to your regional rep, regional director, and connecting with them and saying, hey, do you know anybody who could kind of help me navigate these questions? I'll also send these questions to your board. That way, if you forget or would like to have the questions, you'll have access to that. Also, you could literally just write them down. They're still in the chat, available to you as well. But yeah, really enjoyed the night. Looking forward to next week. It's great. We were 40 people strong today. So really excited to be working with y'all for the next few weeks. We have, I think, 6 more sessions to go. So we got a lot of information to cover, but I know that we're going to get through it, not just with ease, but also with impact. So yeah, hope y'all have a good night. And board, if you have any final words before we close, now's your chance. And I think more so Miss Kimberly, if you have any final words, now's your chance.
I'm
Miss
on
Kimberly.
mute. Sorry again.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, I last time I plan on doing it again. I just wrote up a recap of summary of our Zoom call. So if you want to send me those graphics, the questions or whatever, I can add them in my recap when I send the email out for the link to the next meeting. That would be great.
Perfect. Perfect. Cool. Well, y'all can go home now. Hope y'all have a safe night. And I will see y'all next time. So I'm going to stop the recording.